A triangle is a polygon with 3 edges and 3 vertices. It is one of the basic shapes in geometry. Triangle also makes up 50% of the worst video game title ever, Triangle Strategy. Geometry Procedure is a 2D HD tactical RPG spiritual successor to the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy Tactics. Since Square Enix won't remake what many consider to be one of the greatest games of all time, it's up to the Octopath Traveler developers, Team Asano, to do it. Damn, this game is pretty. A person either jives with the 2D HD look or they don't. I do. I think it's hot. It's sexy. It's so damn lip-bitingly voluptuous. If you told me a few years ago that I'd be going bananas over a game called Triangle Strategy, I'd be convinced I had finally fallen into the pit of coolmathgames.com. Triangle Strategy is a truly wonderful game. As someone who grew up with Shining Force, Fire Emblem, and most importantly, Final Fantasy Tactics, specifically Advanced 1 and 2, Triangle Strategy delivered a tactical experience unlike I have felt in over a decade. Because I feel that way, I want to really talk about this game in depth, so I'm breaking down this review in chapters, just like the game. Story, gameplay, characters, music, and my final thoughts, and if this game is for you. The final section is very important because there are a lot of Fire Emblem fans who are jumping into this game and expecting Fire Emblem, when in reality it isn't like Fire Emblem, it's more like Final Fantasy Tactics. So please play the demo before you buy this game. Please play the goddamn demo! To thoroughly talk about Pyramid Scheme's plot, I need to spoil the very minor details of it. There's a real juicy story in this. This little small aspect of it is only the rim of the juice jar. If you want absolute zero spoilers, you can skip to my next section, but I promise you this is so minimal, it's so small, it's just like knowing that there was a calamity 100 years before Breath of the Wild. It's that small. It's merely just a slither of the story's pizza. In the world of Norzelia, there lie 3 countries. Angry Aspfrost, Hairless Hyzant, and god damn it, it's the protagonist country, Glenbrook. 30 years before the beginning of our tale, these 3 nations went to war over salt. Yep, salt. You know, the mineral you throw in some boiling water before dropping the pasta in? Salt. Eventually the war came to an end when the capital of Glenbrook partnered with House Wolfort of Glenbrook to handle negotiations with the other nations. Negotiations with nations. Ooh, that's catchy, that rhymes! This made everyone diddly and happy for many, many years. And now, 30 years later, the player follows Serenoa, the newly crowned lord of House Wolfort of Glenbrook. He is best friends with Roland, the prince of Glenbrook. Serenoa is also to be wedded to Frederica, the eldest daughter from the late Archduke of Angry Aspfrost. She's also a Rosalian, a race made up entirely of my type, pink-haired individuals. And Hairless Hyzant are racist toward these cuties because they shaved off their hair in the middle of the night or something. Did you get all that? That's important. I hope you're paying attention. Get pen and paper. This is important. Triangle Strategy does not hold back with this information dump. They just drop it all on you and expect you to remember it. So get some paper and pen because at any minute more lore could. Oh, Angry Aspfrost invades Glenbrook, causing a war. Why? Well, that's for you to find out when you buy this game for yourself, because the story is truly excellent as long as you can swallow a lot at once. The opening chapters really establish the world and the main cast. As long as you pay attention to the long cutscenes, explore and talk to everyone, watch every optional cutscene, and read up on the notes you find, you'll be fine. It's like taking a college class. The world is incredibly well made and has many, many years of history built into the writing. Whenever I talk about this game, I label it a partial visual novel because of how much reading there is. There's even a segment that feels straight out of Ace Attorney. Please update the genre of this game, Wikipedia. Please, please, please. For a game about triangles, there's way more than just 3 points to follow. Am I right?
We're not talking about this or this. We're talking about this.
The plot is great. It's just thick. But, the best things in life are thick. Whenever something is compared to the show Game of Thrones, it's often met with knockback or it's laughed at because the show couldn't stick the landing, therefore, according to the public, the whole show is bad. But when playing Triangle Strategy, I couldn't help but draw comparisons. The political drama plot focuses on multiple parties of characters across the continent, and it shows how each of them react to certain world events, and how it shapes their views and actions. It's very Game of Thrones. Also, there are some plot points that feel very blatantly ripped off from Game of Thrones. I imagine the developers came into the office Monday morning after watching the latest Game of Thrones episode and went, "Hey Michael, did you see the Game of Thrones episode last night?"
Yeah, bro, it was crazy how was and did and killed Ned.
Yo, we should put that in our game.
Yo, we should.
It's good, and Game of Thrones is good, and the books are good. F you. It's really funny how our society has evolved. For over 1,000 years, whenever someone saw a chessboard, they'd associate with chess. But ever since 2013 with Fire Emblem Awakening, when someone looks at a chessboard, they say, haha, that's Fire Emblem. Everything has become Fire Emblem. This is Fire Emblem. This is Fire Emblem. This is Fire Emblem. So of course, when Polygon Tactics was revealed, the Fire Emblem comparisons were drawn. I hope Fire Emblem fans played the actual demo because this ain't Fire Emblem, this is Final Fantasy Tactics, baby! The concept is still the same. You're on a chess-like board with units that move. It's still a turn-based tactical RPG, but it feels drastically different. There aren't enemy phases or player phases. The maps and armies are much smaller. There is no built-in counterattack. The flow of the battle is distinct. There are so many moving parts. Every move matters. The direction your units are facing matter. The elevation matters. The placement of idle characters matter. The battles are just like chemistry. Setting up chain reactions is the name of the game. Attacking an enemy with Serenoa and then having Roland attack the same enemy on the opposite side the next turn leads to a chain attack that allows both Roland and Serenoa to get a hit in. The movesets are unique too. Every character has a special ability. My personal favorite is Yans, the Smithy. He can craft ladders and traps. These traps can fling enemies across the battlefield. Like this one time I had my mage, Frederica, my queen, set an enemy aflame on the ground floor of a map. This left 4 tiles burning. The next turn, on a higher elevation, I set up a trap. And then the next turn, the enemy walked into this trap, was thrown off, fell into the flames on the bottom, and perished. It was a sight to behold. I could not help but scream in pure pleasure when that happened. I love the unique movesets that introduce so many different elements. Setting up decoys to distract enemies, changing the weather to strengthen magic spells, charming an enemy to change sides, and so many more excellent mechanics that the guy who changes my oil in my car would blush looking at. While I could go on and on about all the amazing and creative things possible in this lovely game, there are shortcomings. Grinding sucks. The player can visit the encampment, which houses merchants for upgrading weapons, buying items, and of course, holding mock battles. 1 mock battle unlocks per chapter. Only 1. I played through this whole game on normal difficulty, and I struggled because 1 side battle per chapter was not enough. More side missions would have been so very much appreciated. It's possible to replay the mock battles that were completed, but they get so repetitive so fast. There are quick ways to grind in this game, but the diversity and side content is severely lacking. I found myself going into chapter battles knowing I would lose the fight, but gain experience because thankfully, the experience gained in a battle is kept when getting a game over. Which is like the coolest thing ever, and I wish every tactics game would just learn from that and put that in their game because it's such a cool thing! I would just love for this game to have a little pub like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance did, where the player can pick up some quests with fun little stories and knock them out and gain some experience. If you're not one for grinding, it's okay to lower the difficulty. No shame, no judgment. F anyone who judges people for that, honestly. I'm sure on very easy, you'll sweep through the main story without any issues. Also, the camera is finicky. I had forgotten to put this in my script and I don't know where to put it, but the camera, it's rough. The environments are gorgeous and I love the maps. It's such a pretty game, but the maps create issues with the camera. Finding a sweet spot with the camera is near impossible, especially in a map with high elevation. I just want to look at my units. I don't want to see the mountain that's there. Just let me see my units. It's so frustrating at times. I have one final nitpick. Team Asano's previous game, Octopath Traveler, was a good JRPG, but lacked one major feature that frankly led to me dropping it. There was no auto battle. Triangle Strategy unfortunately follows in Octopath's footsteps and does not feature an auto battle. That's pretty upsetting to see, especially in a game where grinding is integral on higher difficulties. At least we have difficulty options, unlike Octopath Traveler. Of course, this isn't the only gameplay in the game. It's half visual novel after all. Outside of the lengthy cutscenes and the fun little battles, there are exploration areas. You get to walk around in this game. Oh, I love me explorable sections and tactics games. It just really brings me back to my childhood with Shining Force. During these, the player controls Sarah Noah and finds items lying around, and talks to NPCs and purchases items and makes decisions. These decisions are in NPC conversations usually, and they affect the player's convictions, which is essentially this game's alignment system. There's morality, utility, and liberty. Choices the players make will distribute points into one of these three categories. Each category will make persuasion easier in major decision-making moments with the scales of conviction. In heated story moments, where major decisions with multiple options present themselves, Sarah Noah and his gaggle of buddies will turn to the scales of conviction, which is essentially an emergency meeting in Among Us. Each member of the group will vote on one of the options presented. The option with the most votes is the route chosen. No ifs, ands, or buts. Before the voting process, the player has the opportunity to persuade characters to one route. So if you have a certain amount of conviction, just like in Among Us, you can almost always convince everyone to go to one side, no matter how cruel it may be.
Guys, flip a coin. Do you want to vote Constantino? Heads, we vote him. Tails, we don't, okay? Heads, so we vote
Get him out of
Constantino.
here.
You guys are straight
God
up.
damn it!
Scales of Conviction be such a cooler title than Triangle Strategy. God damn it. It's nice to play a game that has so much weight and choices. Nothing annoys me more than the illusion of choice in games. And Fire Emblem is one of the biggest offenders of that outside of one or two choices per game. No, sister, don't jump. Don't do. Oh, you're gonna do it regardless, huh? Okay, well, can you do a flip while you're at it? These decisions lead to alternate routes, alternate maps, alternate story beats. There's a whole web of plot here, and that's so attractive. So many choices, so many unique maps and challenges, so much good replay value. And they don't rehash the same 10 maps. Do you know what I love? Sad games. Serious games. Nier Replicant and Majora's Mask are in my top 3 games of all time, and they are some of the most depressing and existential games out there. But they know how to take a break from bleak and add some fun, lighthearted moments. I sure wish Triangle Strategy knew what the word fun was! The story is great. It's a very serious political thriller all about war, oppression, racism, and all that. But if you told me any of these characters have smiled before, I would not believe you. They have never smiled, not once. Yeah, that just looks wrong. I genuinely like the characters in this game, but they're just all a bit too serious for their own good. There isn't much character outside of, "Grr, my nation is #1, I love the people, racism sucks, yeah, serious, no smiling." Like, chill, bro, chill. Please. Also, the names are so wacky. Sarah Noah, Frederica, Gila, Eridor, Huette? They really do capture the older days because I would never hear these damn names in 2022. Although Frederica's a really cute name, but I like that one. But that's probably because she's my favorite character. There are so many characters to remember in this game because of the sheer scale of the narrative, which makes me resent the old-timey names. It would be super helpful if they included a character relations sheet similar to Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Like just a giant web showing how everyone's connected, like Sarah, Noah, and Roland are childhood best friends, or Anna is a dedicated spy for Benedict, and everyone hates Frederica. It would be a great resource for players to refer to whenever trying to digest this world. It's hard to remember everyone, but by the last few hours, I could safely name everyone in my party, side characters included, even though they were shoved under the rug so hard. Side characters in this game are units that the player can choose to recruit on the world map. Who will show up? Well, it depends on your convictions. I got a clown girl named Piccoletta who had very fun skills, like item throwing. Only 2 of my friends playing got her though, meaning that she must be tied to one of the 3 conviction types. That's so cool! But these characters take a major backseat to the main cast narratively. As the game progresses, they get some small cutscenes that elaborate on their past and their motivations in life, which are neat, but frankly forgettable. They don't take a backseat in terms of creativity though. The main cast is made up of generic classes you find in every RPG. Warrior, Paladin, Archer, Mage, Healer, the bunch. These secondary characters have some of the most unique and interesting movesets. Out of the side characters, there are some really great ones. And then there's Medina. She's written well, has great voice acting, and has an intriguing backstory, but I found her actual unit to be so damn awkwardly useless. Her mechanic revolves around using items. She can use 2 items in a single turn. Great. How do you get these items? You can either pick them up in battle, which results in about 5 or 6 items a battle, or you buy them. Money is hard to come by in this game. I'm not going to spend money on items for this weak-ass rubbish bin Medina to use instead of using a healer, a support unit, or a ranged attacker who cost 0 monies to use the same shit that Medina uses with items. Sorry Medina, maybe if I were a lunatic and wanted to grind for 3, 5, 8 hours to get a healthy sum of cash, I would maybe use you, but nope. And maybe if they had auto battle I would do that, but nope, they don't got that. No, they don't. Why don't they? Medina is the only one I recruited I didn't enjoy using. Everyone else found a way on my team at some point in the main story.
Slap my ass like I was just born.
I've been pretty down on the game in this section. And we're not stopping. I have one really final big thing to talk about. Voice acting. This game's voice acting is okay. It's alright. It's decent. It's fine. It has highs and lows, just like any average slice of pizza. But the low is really painful for me. Sarah Noah's voice acting. The main character. It hurts me so much because the voice actor is the same man who voices Sylvando in Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, available now on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox consoles, Stadia, and PC. Sylvando undeniably carries the voice acting in Dragon Quest. His performance is truly one of the best I have ever heard.
That's right, darlings. We're on a quest to bring sunshine and laughter back to every corner of this drab world.
So to see him go from peak voice acting to middling and sometimes rough is disheartening. I like Sarah Noah as a character, but when a bad line comes out, it stings. I love you, Shay Matheson, and I believe in your talent. We all have bad days, I understand. As said before, there are highs, and let's talk about the highs. Huette, performed by Erica Mendez, incredible. Benedict, performed by Adam Harrington, amazing. And Frederica, performed by Emma Ballantyne. Frederica absolutely carries this game's voice acting. She is fierce. She is passionate. Her lines always struck a chord in me that make me shiver. Keep it up, queen! Ooh. Overall, the voice acting is decent enough to get through the story outside of a few awkward performances.
Hey, what's a child like you doing in such a lonely place?
I have nowhere else to go.
Where are your parents?
They died years ago.
My lord.
I always have to bring it back to Octopath Traveler, because 1, I have such a love-hate relationship with the game, and 2, because it was Team Asano's previous game. Therefore, comparisons are necessary. Octopath's composer was Yasunori Nishiki, and he crafted what I consider to be one of the greatest RPG soundtracks of all time, surpassing many greats like Final Fantasy VI in my eyes. But he unfortunately did not return for Triangle Strategy. Even without Nishiki returning, I had high hopes going into this game's soundtrack. It was instead composed by Akira Senju, who is most well known for composing Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, an anime I have never watched in full despite being told that it is peak anime. Triangle Strategy's soundtrack ended up being good. Not like outstanding, it's not as good as Octopath's, but there are some real good tracks. Here are my two favorite songs. The first is a very calm and mellow song that plays when Sarah Noah and company arrive at the Great Norzelian Mines. The moment I heard it, I fell in love. It's easily my most played song. As for my second banger of the soundtrack, this is an actual banger. This is hot. It's the battle theme that plays when you're fighting on a specific map or under certain circumstances. I can't say much beyond that because spoilers, but just listen to it. I'll be returning to this soundtrack frequently to listen to some jams. If you are to play this game, keep your ears open. It will be a treat. Woo, this is a long review, isn't it? I couldn't help it. I really like this game. I have all these really good feelings about it right now. It makes me happy. But of course, these feelings are probably fleeting. That, the new game feel. The best reviews always come a year after the game releases. But, the algorithm doesn't like that. So here I am making this review. I'd love to know if I changed any of your minds on purchasing the game. I would love to see this game succeed. It's not perfect by any means, but it filled me with nostalgia for the tactics game I played in my childhood before Fire Emblem infected me. The story's complex, but taking the time to study it and immerse yourself pays off. Now here's the big thing I talked about at the beginning. Should you buy it? Are you the kind of person that dreads going through cutscene after cutscene or conversation after conversation in other tactics games or just in any game? Do you skip support conversations in Fire Emblem? If you do, you probably shouldn't pick this game up. There is a lot of reading. Now, if you've read a few visual novels in the past and have enjoyed them, and also enjoyed tactics gameplay, get this immediately. You will love it, I promise you. And if you sat through this whole video and are still unsure, well, there's a demo available that has the first 3 chapters, and the progress carries over. It's super convenient, and an easy way to tell if you're gonna like this game. Don't be like my friend who refused to play the demo and bought the game day one and has been non-stop complaining about how much he dislikes the game. F you, Dominic. I really enjoyed Triangle Strategy and I hope you like it too. And if you enjoyed this video, give me the thumbs up, baby. Anyway, I'm going to go continue writing a petition to fix this game's title. Triangle Strategy is the stupidest name. Like, what's next? Circle Store? God damn it.